Good morning. Welcome to worship at Colby United Methodist Church. Whether you're here in person or listening on the radio, it's great to be together and worship God today. Thanks to our veterans who are defending our right to worship freely. Be sure to register your attendance and write down any prayer requests by using the forms in the pews. I do have some more announcements here. The office will be closed tomorrow for Martin Luther King Day, and today's the third Sunday, so that means we're taking regular offering plus a special offering for Helping Hands. So you'll see the cans coming around. This afternoon, the UMW women are having a tea for officer installation at 3 o'clock, and all women are invited to come to that. The youth group will be going to Camp Lakeside next Sunday for their monthly mission. So if you want to go along, please let Sam Funk know. And Margaret has been cleaning out the attic and has some pictures on sale. They're back in Fellowship Hall, and if you wish to buy one, just put your donation in the baskets, a free will offering, and proceeds go to the building fund. Do we have anyone else? Jerry?
Next weekend would be a great opportunity for missions. The youth group apparently are taking a missions trip, but adults are also welcome to take a mission trip on Saturday. We'll leave from the parking lot here at about 7 in the morning and travel to Fort Morgan, Colorado. It's about a 3-hour drive. There are itineraries for this mission trip on the table outside the sanctuary. We will be going to learn a little bit about an association along the Front Range that helps to replace forcibly displaced people. So they come to the United States as a vetted refugee or asylum seeker, and then are placed in various areas around the United States, one of them along the Front Range. And this is an opportunity for some of us in Colby to make a connection with that association and see if perhaps we can help in some way. If you're interested, you can see me or email me. My contact information is on that itinerary. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Jerry. Well, I wanted to give an update on our worship series. If you were planning on seeing Abby this morning, I really felt it was important for her to be at Atwood today so that she could get the love of her home church and to feel that this morning. And so we will start the Pulpit Swap series next Sunday, and with her being here. So she will be here next Sunday. And so I will say a little bit more about her mom during the time of prayer, but just want to let you know. One of the things that I also do during the football season is when it gets time to have a Super Bowl, that over the next 2 Sundays, we will have 2 carts in Al's place. One will have the logo of the AFC team. Is there any fans of that, of one of those? Yeah. Next year's the Broncos. Probably not. And then the other cart will have the NFC team. And if you bring in some food items for Genesis Food Bank, place them into the cart where you predict the winner of the Super Bowl. And then on Super Bowl Sunday, we will know in advance who's going to win this way. And, I'm just saying, we average about 125 people here in the sanctuary on a Sunday. If everybody brought in 2 things, that'd be 250 food items for Genesis Food Bank over the next 2 weeks. I think that's very doable, don't you? And then lastly, I would just invite you to consider, if you're not available on Tuesday nights, to be a part of my Bible study on poverty. I am willing to have one during the day. And I just need to know which day. And so if there's a certain day that people, or an afternoon or morning, just some point throughout the business day that you're available and would love to have that, I'm even willing to travel. You know, we could do a lunch or go to one of our care facilities and do it that way. But just to make that opportunity available for more people to be in the Scriptures and in this particular area of the Scriptures. All right, well, let us now welcome each other into God's sanctuary as we greet each other and listen to Pat.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Yes. Thank you. Thank
That was the Salty Singers with a prelude. Please stand and join in our opening prayer. It's page 761. It's kind of a responsive reading. Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord over mighty waters.
The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty.
The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars.
The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon.
He makes Lebanon skip like a calf and Sirion like a long wild ox.
The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire.
The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness.
The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh.
The voice of the Lord causes the oaks to whirl and strips the forests bare.
And in his temple all cry, glory.
The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as king forever.
May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace.
Please remain standing for our first hymn, Children of the Heavenly Father, number 141.
Seated? Let there be sound. I think that was on the second day, right? After light, then came sound. So, well, it's nice to be back and safe and sound. You never know when you're traveling 17 hours away about the weather, and so it's very heartwarming for Abby and for me to feel the love of all of you through our time of grief and mourning. Abby's mom was expected to, she was given a year back in November and given a full laundry list of health problems. And so she didn't quite make it the year, but she had a long, full, complete, and joyous life. And it was a wonderful celebration. And I so appreciate Scott helping here last Sunday and Carolyn filling in at Atwood for Abby so that we didn't have to worry about what's going to happen when people arrive on Sunday morning. And so that was very, very nice. And others helped with other things that we needed to have done, like our cats and some food when we got home. And so just overwhelmed by your grace and your graciousness. And so this is a very special place, and I knew that before, and now I know that even more so now. And so thank you all for your continued prayers for Abby. I think she's doing all right. My best guess is that it will hit her the next time she has to do a funeral for someone who's her mother's age. That's my guess. But I have been wrong many times. I'm a husband, so I've been wrong many times. Beyond that, I know during the last couple of weeks that we've had other losses here in the church, and so my prayers to Janice Fromm and to Tracy Mackley, there was one more, Tracy Monk, thank you. And so my prayers are with you, and I know that same pain at this moment in time. I also lost a very important person in my life. The first bishop ever to call me by my first name, to know me by my first name, died this week. Bishop Judy Craig, who is, she was in the Detroit conference and in the West Ohio conference. She retired and became bishop in residence at the seminary that I attended, which is how I knew her, and was a real spiritual giant. She was the third woman ever elected bishop. So a very pioneering woman, and she took a lot of grief for being elected. You know, for serving God, you get grief. Yeah, it happens, right? And so I know that all of those churches where she served and the students that she touched over her 15 years of teaching church leadership, are grieving this morning as well. And so, are there other things that I need to lift up? Having been gone, I'm probably not all fully up to date on all the things that are going on, health and in lives around the church. All right. Well, let us put ourselves and our minds into a place of prayer, and so let us do so by singing through the Cares Chorus. I cast all my cares upon you. I lay all of my burdens down at your feet. And any time that I don't know what to do, I will cast all my cares upon you. I cast all my cares upon you. I lay all of my burdens down at your feet. And any time that I don't know what to do, I will cast all my cares upon you. Most gracious God, as we come to worship you this morning, to share in the abundant grace that you provide us for periods of life, of death, of health and unhealthiness, for those times when we feel that we are walking alone, as well as those times in which we know that the one set of footsteps in the sand are yours. We all come from different places this morning, and yet here we are, gathered in this space to worship you, to remember your providence over us and over all of creation. God, on this day, I'm particularly grateful for the sense of community, and for this community of faith, as well as the Atwood community of faith, for all of the love that we have felt during our own time of loss. I can't imagine, God, for those that go through this without any community, and my heart aches for those that do. And perhaps, God, that can be an impetus on all of us to reach out to those who need a community of faith, and to bring them here where judgment lays on the outside and we all journey together. It is the way in which you taught your disciples to send them out in twos so that they would never be alone and that they would always have a place of belonging. And so as you taught your disciples to pray, we also say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I would invite the children up for the children's message. Hey, have a seat. All right. So I hear this rumor that there's no school tomorrow because everybody needs a break from the Black Gold Tournament. Is that true?
No, it's because Martin Luther King's Day. Martin Luther King Day.
It is. So, well, maybe. Oh. So I have a picture of Martin Luther King, but that's not it. Close, but not it. There he is. Have any of you ever seen him before? Never.
Because he wasn't alive by time.
He was not alive during your time. You know what? He died even before I was born. Not much before, but before I was born. Even before I was in my mommy's tummy, he died. So what do we know? I do have a mom. Hey, and Scott, I have a daddy too. I know, everybody has a mom, yeah, and a dad. So this is really why you don't have school tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So good job, you answered correctly.
And we don't have school on Tuesday.
You don't have school on Tuesday either?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe for
Wow.
maybe for an extra day. You know
I think so. Maybe that day is for the Black and Gold Tournament Recovery Day. Oh, it's
Yeah,
teacher stuff.
like
Okay, all right.
training.
Yeah. Okay, Scott, go ahead.
Did you know I go to school on Tuesdays?
Yes, you get to go see Miss Amy. So let's get back to Martin Luther King. Why do we not have school in honor of him? Anybody have any ideas? Okay.
Because it's a holiday.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why we have the holiday?
It's because he got white and blacks get along.
Okay.
He delivered a speech of black and whites are all over the world.
So I give a speech every Sunday and we don't have a holiday for me.
Yeah, but that was a famous one. It helped black and whites get along.
Oh. Yeah, mine would not be so famous, would they? No. Okay, did you have something? Being kind to people. Yes. Isn't it amazing that we have to have a... Yeah, that is the next holidays, Valentine's Day. And they're actually connected, aren't they? Because Martin Luther King wanted us to love each other. And that Valentine's is the day of love, right? Actually, every day could be the day of love. Yeah. So, one of the things I always did when I was your age was if we didn't have school, if it was important enough not to have school, I wanted to know all about that person, right? Like President's Day is in February, so you might want, maybe we'll talk next month about presidents, right? Yeah. So on this picture here that you see, He is at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and giving the speech that Nathaniel talked about called I Have a Dream. Those are people. It's hard to see that those are people, but they are. In fact, the whole mall area was filled up with people to come and to hear him speak about kindness, getting along, loving each other regardless of the color of our skin. And that's why. And one other thing that I want you to know. He was a pastor. He was Reverend Doctor, so he had a doctorate, not the same as what Scott and Anna's mom and dad are doctors, but he had a doctorate, so he's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther